One day last week, I was having a meeting with some colleagues online on Zoom, and towards the end of the meeting, the gentleman that was conducting the meeting started to go around the room and say to all of the participants, "Well, this person, well, you're going to go out and you're going to do whoever their thing was," and he was naming it, and the next person, blah blah. He went through about three, four people, and then he got to me and he hesitated, and it was like Willie is going to, and he hesitated, and at that moment I realized something. I realized that people do not know that I exist, and they do not realize what I do, and so I need to change that. I need to change. I need to let people know who I am first of all, and let them know what I offer, and um, it may be something that would help. Hopefully, it'd be something that will help change their lives, for the better. So tonight, I'm gonna do a little introduction. I'm gonna give you a little bit about my history, my beginning, why I do what I do, my purpose, and I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about my niche and my camp, my tent, which is self-love, self-care. I'm gonna tell you what it is and why we need it. And I want to also let you know that it is the journey to authenticity, and we'll talk about that and why it matters. And can you get it? And is it worth it? Okay, I'm going to start by just introducing myself. My name is Willie Davis Jr. I was born in a not so small town of Waycross, Georgia, about 77 miles north of Jacksonville, Florida, right at the border of Florida and Georgia, right at the mouth of the Okefenokee Swamp. I don't know whether any of you have ever heard of that or not, but it's a real swamp. For real swamp with alligators and snakes and all the other kind of critters in it. Anyway, I was born to a set of parents that I don't think I could have had better parents. My mom was just a very empathetic, loving, happy, sort of freedom type lady. I mean, she just kind of she exude that love of life. My dad, on the other hand, was somewhat of a uh, do it by the book type of a guy. He was an ex-Marine. He worked for the same company for over 40 years, starting when he was, I think, about 15 or 16 years old. He lied about his age. And while he was working for the company, the war broke out, or the conflict, Korean conflict, and he was drafted into the Marines, and he was a paratrooper jumping behind enemy lines. All of this I found out years later after his death, that those were some of the things that he did. He was an entrepreneur, owned a couple of grocery stores and properties all over town, well known all over town. My dad was my hero in a way. He was that example of what a man should do for his family, work hard and take care of his family. My mom, on the other hand, was one who showed me the empathy and the love that we should have for other people, and the way that the both of those entities, or those both of those parents from both sides with different qualities with them, produce what you see here now. My I had have a total of nine sisters and had three brothers. One has since passed away, um, which was my brother with my mother and father. It wasn't, it was we had the same mother and father. Um, why is it that I do what I do? Well, as a child, growing up in small town Waycross, Georgia, I was the type of a kid that when I was around the youngsters, like, I was a clown. I like to make people laugh. Do silly things, make silly noises, or just do anything to just to get a laugh among people. But when an adult walked into the room, it was a different story. I was shut down completely, go sit in a corner someplace and try to melt in with the furniture, the wallpaper, or the whatever. I was a very shy individual, very introvert, uh, especially when it came to people that were somewhat older than me. And I have to say this: I don't mind being very vulnerable in my quest to help other people. This is the reason why I do this, is because I want to help other people. I know other folks out there have gone through things that I went through, and it felt similar to what I felt as a kid growing up. I felt uncomfortable in my own skin. I was molested when I was 7 years old by a relative, and that changed the whole dynamics, I guess you can say, of my personality and the way I felt about myself. For years, I felt as if I was there was something wrong with me, and there was something that needed to be fixed. I felt like I wasn't complete. I felt as if everybody else could have that thing that made them complete, that made them whole, except for me, because I just didn't know where to find it. I didn't think I had it. When I was graduated from high school, I went directly into the military. I just turned 18 years old. I graduated. I finished school at the age of 17. My birthday came in between the end of school and my graduation. So um, I joined the Air Force right after. So I went into the Air Force like fresh 18. I mean, just a couple of months after my 18th birthday. And I did 4 years in the Air Force, and got a lot of experience from that. While I was in the Air Force, I met the mother of my oldest son, and soon after we dated for a little while, and this was in Las Vegas, Nevada. I went out and I got my license for my certification to be a slot machine mechanic while I was there. You know, I was still in the military. Did several other things, just trying to ready myself for when I left the military. Well, I did leave the military eventually, and when I left the military, I moved to Hollywood because my dream was always to be. There was three things that I'd always wanted to be. Four things actually that I've always wanted to do in life. And when I was 14 years old, I put this on what's now called a dream board, taking pasting on your wall. Anyway, number one was that I wanted to be a fighter pilot in the Navy. Number two, I wanted to be an actor in Hollywood. Number three, I wanted to be the greatest father in the world. Number four was that I wanted to live to be 114 years old. Those were my things. I did that at 14, at the age of 14. Well, it so happens that when I graduated from high school, I did go to, went into the military, not realizing that I needed a bachelor's degree in order to fly. Well, I did the next best thing. I became avionics tech during that time. Um, when I got out of the military, I went to Hollywood and studied at Lawrence Merrick Academy in Hollywood, California. I did a couple of stage plays that was of significance, and when I say of significance, I mean that we had an audience. I did two PBS specials, and I also did one anti-smoking commercial, which I wrote, directed, and starred in. Soon after, my um, oldest son's mother and I reunited, because I left her in Nevada and I moved to California. We reunited a few months after that. She comes to me and tells me she's pregnant. So I decided I needed to get a job and make some money so I could pay, take care of my child. The acting just wasn't doing it. I wasn't getting the type of income in it I needed. So that's when I met a friend who introduced me to, well, or encouraged me to apply at an aerospace company, one of the first ones I applied at. Well, I applied there, and lo and behold, I got hired, but I had to go through a top secret regiment because this particular job was top secret. It was top secret work on an aircraft. So I finally passed the security clearance, Started working on the job, worked there for 4 years, almost 4 years, got laid off, went to another little small, well, to not very small, but to another aerospace company, Hughes. Worked there for 1 year. Then I went to a third one, McDonnell Douglas, which eventually became Boeing. Worked there for a total of almost 20 years at Boeing. I think it was total. I think it was like 18 years at at Boeing. I also worked at a few of the other ones, Northrop Grumman and all of that. A lot of the major aircraft companies I worked at, and in the capacity of a wire integrity person, which go around wiring the aircraft, and also as a test individual, testing certain components of the aircraft. It was a good job. I loved that job. That was a job that I love going to. If you find something you love going to, do just that. Well, and that job, I met my first wife, and we married, and we had two other sons, and bought a home in Corona, California. Lived there for almost 20 years in that home, raising our kids. Divorced, and almost 12 years ago that happened, and that's when I went through the worst part of my life. Now, there's a thing that I have talked about from time to time about how, and I've heard it too, about how some of us, we know we need to change. We know we need to make changes in our lives, but sometimes we wait until that tragedy happens, to that thing, that bad thing happens to you, where you have no other choice but to change. We don't have to do that, people. We don't have to wait until that happens. We lose that way. I've lost everything that I worked for all of those years. But guess what? It's okay, because I had to lose that in order to find me. And believe me, the person that I know now, the person that I am now, let me tell you about it. For years, he didn't know himself. I didn't know me. I wanted to be somebody else. I knew that I was not living my life being who I wanted to be. I was living to be who other people, who I was living to be what I thought other people expected me to be. If that makes sense. I was living the life that the examples that was given to me, as a kid growing up, watching my dad, my uncles, and the other people in the community, especially the other males in the community, watching what they do, how they do things, and whatever. So we are all programmed, or domesticated to a certain extent, to live life in a certain way. And I think that it all began because of people wanting peace and order. But in my opinion, it has done the opposite of peace and order. I mean, if it worked, we wouldn't have the issues that we have going on today. At any rate, I began my journey. I had to start from the bottom of the pit. I lost everything. I lost my home. I lost my job. I lost my family. I lost my cars. I lost my identity. I lost who I am. I lost that married man that lived in that great neighborhood, in that great looking house with those expensive German cars from Germany, um, living in a newer neighborhood, working at a job capacity that was considered to be something good. I lost all of that, but I'm glad I did, people. I did. I am, because I found me. I found something much more me. That's what I found. I found the whole individual. I found the individual that who lives a whole life, who lives what I call now a joyful life. Now, I try to avoid that word happiness, because I do believe happiness is just certain moments, fleeting moments in our lives. But joyfulness, I believe, in my opinion, is something that can it's a continuous thing. Um, yeah, shit still happens. Believe me, it does. But now being joyful, being emotionally intelligent, now it enables me to deal with those times when things aren't going right, and I can still have a smile on my face. And I can still wake up in the morning and say, "Whoa, what a beautiful day it is." I can still go to sleep at night and just be grateful for what I have and what the universe has given me. I had to come to a place in my life where I had to accept being me. I had to accept the fact that I am unique. I had to accept the fact that I'm special. I had to accept the fact that there's no one like I am. I had to accept the fact that I have weaknesses, I have strengths. I had to accept the fact that I'm as beautiful as I think I am. I'm as smart as I think I am. I'm it's all according to what I think I am. I am what I think I am. It's the same for you. You are what you think you are. You can change that if you don't like it. You really can. I did. Like I said, I had to start from the bottom. One of the first things I did was what I went out and because I knew that I needed to share what I had gone through. And I knew I had something here. I knew I just wanted to make it easier for other folks. I wanted to make it easier for other people. I don't want people to go through the same thing that I went through. Why? I mean, I've gone through it, so why can't I just tell you what I went through? Hopefully, you can avoid some of those pitfalls. So, my purpose became being a coach, a life coach, and a public speaker. Now, I can remember the first time that I even dared to think about that. It was like, who are you? What's your credentials? Who says that you can be in a such thing as that? Why? What do you have to offer? I didn't know, but I had to find out. One of the greatest things about going through this journey is that when we start these things, we daydream about what it is that we want, and we get excited about it. But the next thing you know, we drown it by asking one simple question, and that is how. It stops us dead in our tracks, people. It stops us dead in our tracks. It almost like paralyzes us, and then we're not able to move on. I don't want to make this too long, so I'm going to kind of hurry up through this real quick, as quick as I can. I came upon this concept that I now call self-love, self-care. Now, I know that when a lot of people hear that self-love, self-care, it sounds kind of squishy, I guess, It's kind of, self-love, self-care, what does that mean? It sounds like it's selfish to me. Well, in a way it is. But it's not the bad selfishness, it's the good selfishness. But look at it this way. Two theories that I have. How can you love someone if you don't love yourself? What's your reference? How do you know how to love someone if you don't love yourself? I mean, it's a question that I've always asked. Finally, I've got the answer for me is that you can't. You can't really genuinely love someone if you don't love yourself. Now, on the other side of that is that if you love yourself, it enables you to understand others better because now you understand yourself. If you understand yourself, if you come in from the core with love and understanding, with empathy, it spreads out. And then when you see it in other people, what you see in other people is different when you begin to love yourself and you come from a place of understanding and empathy because now you're coming from the inside. You're coming from that really radiates from the inside of yourself. Self-love, self-care is nothing more than just treating yourself as well as you would treat that spouse that you were so daunting on, that child that you love so much, or that mother or father that you give all the attention to. You need to give that same attention to yourself, and sometimes even more than that, because when you give yourself more, you're able to give more. Self-love, self-care is my whole thing now. I mean, it's just if we can learn how to love ourselves, we can learn how to love the world, man. I mean, really. I mean, it's no way around it. And I know it sounds squishy, okay, but it's not. It's true. It's real. Okay, another thing, and I just kind of explained to you what self-love, self-care is, and why we need it, because we need to learn how to love ourselves so we can love others, and so that we can help cure some of the things that goes on in our society, with our politics, with our religion, with our medical. We can cure, we can do much more better with those things if we just knew who we were. If we would just take the time to invest time. We don't really have to invest that much money, just times. Sometimes it's all we need. A lot of people call it being woke. I call it being aware of who we are, being aware of our weaknesses, our strengths, being aware how special we are, being aware of our uniqueness, being aware how no one else can do what we were put here to do. If we don't do it, it ain't going to get done. All of this leads us to what I call the journey to authenticity, to being our authentic self. And I do believe that if we can all live our authentic lives, live who we really are, who we really feel like we are, taking down the boundaries and crossing over the barriers that is placed there, this world would be such a better place if we stop separating ourselves, because we're not meant to live separately. We're meant to be together. We're whole. We're one. We're one. But people go around trying to separate us for their gain. We got to stop that. And it matters. It matters because we're killing ourselves. We're destroying ourselves. And I think that if we don't do something about it, if we don't do something about it now, if we continue to let it go the way it's going now, I don't know. It scares me when I think about the way that things can go now. And it matters because I was at the park today, real quick, and I'm going to finish this real quick. I was at the park today, and I was watching these little kids run around. I mean, young kids. They were running all in a line for exercise, so they were just running, run around this track. And it dawned on me that those kids, those young kids, one day are going to be the ones who's going to lead this country. They're going to be the leaders. What trauma have they gone through already? Those same kids who have gone through that trauma, whatever trauma it is that they have now, they're going to carry that trauma into their life, into their adulthood. They're just going to be just as screwed up then as they are now. We got to do something, people. We got to start with our youth. We got to start with early, teaching our youth how great they are, how unique, how special. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, what size your body is, where you're from. God gave us all the same dang thing, man. When he allowed us when he allowed us to experience this thing. Do you know how lucky you are to be even here? One out of hundreds of millions. Anyway, I'm going to close that now. Close it. It's almost 25 minutes. So anyway, I just want to come out and I just want to do that real quick. I just want to give you some feel about who I am and what I do. I'm a coach. I'm a certified life coach, and I'm also a qualified public speaker in the county of Riverside. It was nice talking to you all. I have my website up and going within the next week or so. Love to hear from some of you. Okay? Have a good night. Bye now.